big. He was like the janitor. She was doing it before this. So she was like the underground.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Eclecticka, the best show on earth. Everything sci-fi, fantasy, animation, gaming, and of course the wonderful personalities of Drew, Charles, and Geisha. How you guys doing today?
Very well.
Hello, doing great.
Cool. And I guess I'm 7 this week. Every week I say a different name. You notice that, right?
Yes.
No, not every week. Some weeks.
Listen, we had such a hot conversation. I would like to bring some of that into the show. So, but we'll start off with gaming news. Charles, what do you got this week?
I don't have much. Again, I think it was from last week. I don't know if I got into it. They want to do a PlayStation 4.5. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing. They want to sort of upgrade it. Then Xbox sort of wants. Yeah, but I don't know what they're doing, man. Like I said, I think it's more so on money, and they're trying to ride the PC side where you can take and you can upgrade and do this. I think they're just finding different ways of pocket. Yeah. Xbox was talking a few weeks ago. They want to make a system that's upgradable like a PC. I mean, there's pros and cons with that. Again, if you got to go out every month, and you know technology moves very quickly, instead of you paying a flat $400 for a machine, after upgrading it and buying all the parts, you're going to spend $800. You know what I mean? It's really not going to be feasible for the gamer. You're just going to be digging in your pocket constantly. So I don't know, man. I think they should just concentrate on what they have. PS4 is a great machine. Xbox One.
Give me some games, because, like, honestly, this most recent gen, I should say, rather, PS4, they have good games, but I feel like this is the least amount of games that we've had in the last 7 years. Xbox is the same way. Like, because everybody's so fixated on DLCs and stuff like that, they don't make as many games anymore. No. And it's like the ones that they do have, I feel like most of them are either hit or miss. It's like you have The Witcher, and then you have Metal Gear, and then you have Dark Souls, which I'll get into in a second. But then it's like Xbox, they had, which I don't know if like Destiny was like an exclusive for Xbox. I didn't play it because I didn't think it was worth the damn.
It messed over a lot of people, man. I've had more disappointing conversations about Destiny. It beat people's expectations. They sold you a piece of a game. It wasn't even a full game.
Yeah. So it's like they hype them up so hard, and then when you get them, if they're lackluster, well, don't worry, because we have 8 DLCs that are coming out that'll completely fix it. They really don't. They're saying that just because they're trying to salvage what little, cred they still have with that particular game. Mm-hmm. But at any rate, I just think make me a system, make me a set of good games. I don't need many. Give me like a dozen. I don't need many.
I mean, it's true when you think
about
it.
Move on to the next one.
You don't need many. The games that I play, you have maybe a solid 4 games that you might play. You know what I mean? You're not going to sit there and play all those games. So you're right.
I got my dirty dozen, man.
If these guys aren't careful, Steam, with the fact that they have a lot of games that you can download too, it's going to make people go to PC. And that could be a very easy transition.
Yeah.
Because if I want Telltale, I love Telltale games. I can get Telltale from Steam on my PC if I really want to. I don't have to download it for my PS3. So they need to make sure they realize that,
Yeah. So I got a little bit of news. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, but Dark Souls 3, man, I know a lot of people that I know are playing it. They played it in advance for the review purposes, like IGN, GameSpot, stuff like that. A few people that I know low-key have been playing it that are on the inside, just and they're saying that this one is, if you can believe this, Dark Souls 2 is perceived as the easy one in the franchise. I played it once, and I got my ass thoroughly handed to me. It's a fun game. The lore is amazing. The storyline's really great. It's a unique game. But, man, it was just balls hard. And then 3 is out, and I'm getting across the board thus far. Reviews are good. What have you seen?
Sorry.
Whatever that was.
Buzzer, time's up.
Yeah, I guess timer. But no, the reviews that I've seen so far, it's great. The graphics are great. It looks like they're keeping in with the tone of the other games.
It looks beautiful,
all the lore, all the hard gameplay is there. So when that comes out, guys, I'm definitely going to give you more on that one because it's a great game.
Okay.
And by the way, it's $59.99.
It's worth it in this case, I think, because the DLCs that they do have for Dark Souls are actually good. They add to the world. and it's like, yeah, I'd totally spring for DLC if I had that game. It'd be awesome.
See, I can respect that game because after for like Dark Souls 2, I do enjoy the fact that if I'm going through the terrain somewhere and I see a building in the distance, that I can
Mhm.
actually walk to that building, like eventually get to that area.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fine. I can see
yeah.
that being for more DLC. But a lot of these
Uh-huh.
other games, I don't see a purpose for the DLC except to be filler because they didn't give you anything in the first place.
The
Right.
first
That's
run,
not
yeah.
really DLC.
That drives me crazy.
Yeah, I can't stand that.
Well, speaking of worlds, should I be excited about Doctor Strange? Should I?
I am. I mean, I have high hopes, and I generally try not to have high hopes, but I love Benedict Cumberbatch, so I have high hopes. I want this to be really good. I mean, I think we have the technology, we have the ability to make this whole mysticism and mystical aspect possible. I've been used to it. I've watched my kung fu, and Japanese foreign films that cover all that magical stuff. So I'm looking forward to an American movie actually being able to rival that, because that's what I'm waiting for. Like they
Yeah,
set
I wish they could. Yeah, yeah. It's funny you bring that up. I wish they could take the writing that they have and then put in a lot of these foreign, like Eastern films, like the wuxia films, where they have the mysticism in it, but then use like the American special effects. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times the writing for these movies will be great, and then you'll see the special effects and be like, but the writing's really good, so I can actually kind of just squint and it'll be okay. But yeah, Doctor Strange should be good. I'm not expecting it to be bad. Marvel, they gained my trust, I guess I could say, which is more than I can say for other companies, Warner Brothers. But
Lionsgate.
I'm expecting Doctor Strange to be good. The cast on point, the changes that they've made, because there was some controversy about this. Tilda Swinton, who's a great actress, she's the Ancient, right? And in the comics, those of you that have read the comics, the Ancient is this old, long-bearded Tibetan fellow. He's Asian.
Exactly.
You can see how that could make a problem because we're talking about this.
I like Tilda Swinton, but no.
Based on stereotypes. Yeah, yeah. But I think it's actually okay because if they'd gone the other route, you'd have had a whole wave of people saying, well, he's a Fu Manchu caricature, he's this, he's that, and the third, and I could see their argument for that.
I could see that, but then again, like, I gotta go with the whole thing of like there are not that many roles for Asian men in cinema that would depict them in a position of power and knowledge, because normally they're depicted as just the kung fu stereotype. So I wouldn't mind seeing an older Tibetan man if that's what Doctor Strange is going to, a Tibetan, area, and seeing someone depicted. You can depict the person there without being a caricature. It's possible.
I hear you. I hear you. I think Chow Yun Fat would have been an excellent person for that role. When I was
They could have picked
thinking the
Donnie Yen,
casting in my head.
anybody. Like
Donnie Yen he would have stolen the show. If you
Donnie-
had Donnie Yen, no, we'll get to him in a minute too, because there's Star Wars news today. Donnie Yen as the Ancient would have been the ish. Like it would have been over. He would have stole the show. He would have fought the last guy, and he would have won. It would have been great. But yeah, Tilda Swinton, I'm okay with her. I think she's a great actress. She has that androgynous look to her, so that I think they're gonna play with that idea where it's just like she looks like this, but you don't really know if she's a boy or a girl.
But
She'll
they
say
did it
something.
in Constantine, though. They played with that in
She was
Constantine.
Gabriel, yeah, and I still don't know why I was attracted to her in that movie, but yeah, I thought she was awesome.
No,
in that
she
movie.
was. She does have a lot of a very odd air about her, which is fine. I loved her in Narnia, but I like you telling me this now. I'm kind of disappointed because I was really hoping that because for me, I didn't get my full effect when I saw the last Iron Man movie, because I really thought that the Manchurian guy was going to be
I was fired up at that, man.
and they robbed me of that.
Yeah.
They robbed me
I was
of my
so
ancient
mad,
Chinese villain guy.
And
So
see,
I was
the argument was the
very
same thing.
upset with the Mandarin.
The Mandarin. I was so upset at that. The thing with the Mandarin reminded what should have been like. Remember Big Trouble Little China?
Yes,
The guy with,
Yeah.
That's what we should have
Yes.
been like, man. And
that's what I
yes.
was waiting
Yes.
for.
the way.
See, but the thing about that is though,
And then they made a joke.
yeah,
I
but you have the
was
same
so
argument of him
mad.
being a Fu
Yeah.
Manchu, so it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's a
But
slippery
that's
slope
just
either
it.
way.
Because okay, like Drew, I see what you're saying, But then what that's telling me is that Hollywood can make caricatures of people of color when they want to, but then when they see like China and Japan doing their movies, that's not a caricature. That's them reflecting how their people actually looked, their history, their culture. Hollywood can do that too, but I feel that Hollywood just wants to put someone in that costume when they want to whitewash a character and not actually put someone in that costume that fits that costume. You know, like, well, respect to Tilda Swinton, but they could have hired somebody else for that role.
They do that all the time.
And then,
Tom Cruise.
yeah,
They do that all the
part of
time.
me is just, yeah, that whole thing where it's just like people are trying to be politically correct, which is okay to an extent. But then when you insert what you just said, which is just like they use that as an opportunity to insert these, European Anglo-centric characters in these otherwise like, exotic roles, then it's a matter of, okay, you're not really trying to be diverse or anything or protect anyone's feelings. You just want to be able to just kind of just shove in more of what you consider to be like, the standard. And then you get movies like Gods of Egypt, which was complete shit. So
Exactly. That's
yeah.
how I feel about Tilda Swinton being the ancient all-knowing one. Because I'm like, really? Let's,
Yeah.
as a person of color
So,
who is Asian looking at that, it makes me feel that an Asian person cannot be reflected as all-knowing and all-powerful. You have to put a white lady in that role to be all-knowing and all-powerful. That's how I take it.
Well, since we're talking about race and we're staying on schedule,
No. Just
we have
that out so quick. Like, sorry.
Black
So
Panther
Tuesday-
coming up in 2017, and there's a lot of people talking about that.
Which one was this again? I got
Black
caught up-
Panther.
Black Panther.
So right now, if we stay on schedule, we
Oh,
just
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about Doctor Strange, and let's talk about Black Panther. How you guys feel about finally there's a Black Panther film?
Okay. Can I say something?
Yep.
Go for it.
All right. I'm gonna have to try to throw two together. So I'm gonna have to leapfrog backwards real quick. Going with Doctor Strange and Black Panther, I'm gonna lump them together. I'm gonna put them with Blade. Most people had no idea who Blade was when the first Blade came out. They had no idea it was a Marvel character. Okay? I'm gonna say that about Doctor Strange. It could work or it couldn't work. Most people aren't gonna know who Doctor Strange is. If they wouldn't put a Marvel logo on it, they would just go think they're seeing a mystical movie. They're not gonna know.
Exactly.
Black Panther. No, Black Panther. I'm a Black Panther fan. I like Black Panther. Most people might think it's the Black Panther that's civil rights group because most people don't even know who Black Panther is. They'll find out from Civil War, so that's a good thing. They're actually sort of gonna, lead him into it, then give him his own movie. But I hope, number one, that they put it in the amount of theaters that they do these other Marvel films. You know what I mean? Where they just don't bring it out and it's out for a week and they only put it in a few, maybe 1,000 theaters instead of putting it in 3,000 or 4,000 theaters. So they should give it equal airtime play as they do any of the other Marvel movies, and the same with the advertising, everything they put into the Avengers and all this other stuff, it needs to go into the Black Panther movie. It does.
Yep.
It has to. That's only
My
fair.
prediction for that, Charles, I think they are, because just considering the amount of buzz and how like he's been in everyone's faces since they dropped the Civil War trailer, I'm thinking he's gonna get his fair due. I'm thinking that advertising is gonna be on point. I could end up being wrong, but my prediction as of right now, just by how much I've seen from him, I think he's going to be out there. He's going to be out there in the streets, and everybody's going to know who he is eventually. And you're right in that a lot of people don't know who Black Panther is, and it's funny you bring that up, because I found an interesting article today which referred to Black Panther as the first African-American superhero that you're going to see in a film. Whoever wrote that article, I'm sure you're not a bad person, but you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Black Panther is from Wakanda. Wakanda is a nation/kingdom in Africa. Africa, okay, is not America. All right, just a quick
It's not?
knowledge lesson.
It's
not,
not.
shocking enough. Yeah. So when you refer to T'Challa, or T'Challa, however you pronounce his name, he's not African American. He is African. If you want to be real nitpicky, he's Wakandan. And not even just that, he's a Wakandan prince/king. So, people that don't know who he is, that don't know his history, as being the first black superhero, not first African-American superhero, first black superhero, there you go. First African-American superhero for Marvel was Sam Wilson, who we all know is the Falcon. So
Yeah, Luke Cage in 72, and I think Black Lightning was in what 77, somewhere around 1970.
he was somewhere at that time, like for DC. But yeah, you had him, and then you had this like surge of other characters who came through, like in the 80s and 90s. You had Icon, you had Static, not Static Shock, Static. Black Lightning. So they've been out there. They're just not utilized, because until now I feel like a lot of it just has been predicated on Superman, Batman, characters of that archetype. So I don't know. The diversity is out there. He'll get his play. But in other news, we got another issue of, not issue, but it's the
I have an
matter
issue.
for one. You have, or apparently Seven has an issue with it. Surprise, surprise. Rogue One, the first teaser trailer. I have an issue too, so we'll get into that. But like the first trailer for Rogue One came out this week. It is for those of you who don't know, it's the prequel to not just The Force Awakens, which was the smash hit that came out last year. Was it this year or last year? Did I mess that up? Last year. So it's not even just a prequel to that. It's a prequel to A New Hope, which was the original, the OG Star Wars series. And it tells the story of the group. Remember how they said that there was a team of people who went into the Empire and took the plans for the Death Star? Mm-hmm. Right? That's that story. So you have this team of people who come together, and their mission is to steal the plans for what is then the in construction Death Star. It looks good. Donnie Yen's in it. Forrest Whitaker's in it. They have a lot of other characters in it that you may or may not recognize, who are like dated OG Star Wars like alum, like the guy that Seven just showed. You show his picture again, Seven?
Oh.
Was it Biggs or Wedge? His character was. Anyway, while you're figuring that out, but yeah. My only problem with that is, did you guys see the trailer? Because I don't want to mess it up.
I saw the trailer. Yeah. I was like, oh, Forrest Whitaker, okay.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker's cool. I don't like the main chick. She is such like a pseudo-tough, atypical British chick that I can't take her seriously. Especially the part, Charles, you're a writer. So how did you feel when she sits there in the chair in front of like, the head priestess, like, rebellion chick? I'm a rebel. I rebel. I'm like,
can I say something on this?
She's supposed to break the rules, like she's a member of Monster High or something.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was talking to someone about that the other day. My thing is, when you're writing, make sure the writing and the characters fit. It's like trying to take a round peg and put it in a square slot. It's not going to fit. And it seems like a lot of times it's like, they got to have the tough. We got to put a tough woman in there. She got to be the rebel, instead of taking the character and fitting it into the role. You understand what I mean? It's like you got to meet your quota for the movie, and it's like it don't make sense. So why have the character like that?
Exactly. Is it possible? I don't know. Is it possible, guys, that maybe they did that because they see that there is a want and need for more pro-female non-stereotypical roles within these movies? Like, I feel like when I saw the trailer that they kind of wanted to go with that, just like the way they did with the first film with Rey. But I feel that they overdid it because you didn't need to go that far. Like, you can give the character her spunkiness without making her a caricature of that demographic, so to speak.
Exactly.
That's how I
It's like you're not going to be, for instance, if you were playing a role, play the role how you're going to act, how you're going to be every day. You're not going to be tuned up every minute of the day. You're not going to be ticked off. That don't make any sense. So it's like they put these characters in 24/7, are just pissed off at the world. Yeah, doesn't make sense. I'm sorry.
Geisha, my thing is this. My issue is this. You say that there is like a demand for the quote unquote strong feminine role, right? Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, give me variety. Why does this chick look like exactly almost like Rey, just like skinnier?
That's
when I think of the chick who, when I think of the chick that brought the people the Death Star plans, I think of kind of like a short, squat, almost like kind of like husky looking chick that talks a lot of shit but actually gets the job done. That's who I envision. That's who I
would have envisioned if I was going to do it. I would have something similar to you, Drew. She would have been more of the nerdy engineer but she knew what she needed to do or how into the Death Star. I would figure someone like that had that eventually throughout the story developed her spunk and her courage, because she's usually a desk jockey because no one really gave her that, that fortitude, and then she goes ahead and takes this journey to do this great mission, and she winds up being a really great hero and developing her self-confidence. Like I see
Yeah.
spunky characters like that, like
Mhm.
for this.
Yeah, but it's like this chick, I just didn't buy it. And I don't know, maybe I may watch the movie and be like, you know what, I take it all back. She was great. But just in this trailer, I feel like she's trying too hard. I feel like she's just,
Either
again,
too hard or the trailer is trying too hard because she doesn't smile. I don't see you like. And this is another thing.
The
She
typical.
kind of follows the same stereotype as like angry black woman, but she's not. And I see that too.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can't have a smart female that's straightforward without her being angry. And I'm like, you can. You can have that without her being angry. But I see like badass and angry have to be together, and they shouldn't.
But the
Can't,
thing is,
yeah,
they
they
do
can't
that
somehow
with a lot of
collapse
female roles in movies.
and shit like
They
that.
do that with a lot of them. I'm just like, it's an old formula, man. It's old and
And it's
worn
funny
out.
because we see, yeah, this is like way less of an issue in like comics and video game. It's ridiculous how many awesome female video game characters there are, and then you're watching this and it's just like, how come they can do this in video games and anime, but for some strange reason you only get like two flavors of chick, like a strong female role. It's like you either have like a just a know-it-all, I'm perfect because I'm the chick that has the female parts type of just like expert at everything who's never wrong, or you have what you just said, where it's just like the angry chick who's capable but she's angry about it.
I've been
I
quiet
just-
through this whole conversation. What she reminds me of is a older space version of Punky Brewster.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God.
All right, I'm done.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Oh snap! That needs to be a meme, dude.
Drop the
It
mic.
needs to be a meme. Make it. Make
You
it.
know, it's just like the worst of Channel 11, you know, and I don't know, man. It's just,
And yeah, because we've been going in on this trailer for a couple minutes now, and it looks great. It looks like it's gonna be fun.
Oh, it looks
Forrest Whitaker
amazing.
looks like great. Donnie Yen, who we were talking about earlier,
Right.
he's in it. When I just see him beating a stormtrooper with a stick, I'm just like,
Yes.
yes. Like,
and
I
they
could
did
go-
a really good job with casting, trying to find younger versions of the old school characters.
They did, yeah, when it came to that, that was great. That was straight out of the old ones, and I like how the tone looks like it took place
Right.
in that kind of like dark age when the Empire was just kicking the crap out of every living thing in the universe. So it looks like it's going to be great. I like that final shot where you see them running out, and it's almost like reminds me of like the storming the beach in Normandy or something like that.
Yeah.
Where you just have like the Imperial walkers, and they're just blasting them, and they're just like, dude, screw it, run, just run. So it'll be fun. It'll be good. I just don't like the Rey facsimile thing, and because she's just not viable. She should have been a completely different character, and they're trying to make her into like Rey Light.
Are they gonna destroy the series in a way by doing this?
Star Wars?
Well, because I mean,
No.
like making all the movies in between, is it really necessary, or they're just trying to milk it for all it's worth?
Okay.
It's not necessary.
Not necessary, because you can go ahead and complete the rest of the story. But I mean, Star Wars has become a franchise, and when you have a franchise, that means your next important thing is money, influence, money, and staying as a brand in people's heads. So what's the best way to do that? Keep cranking out interesting films to a story that everybody wants to know every single part about. So as long as that's there, I think they're going to continue to go ahead. And there's enough books, whether they want them to be canon or a lot of material that they can use to make more films should they want to.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, I agree.
Questions with Star Wars. Do you ever think that they would do a modern? I'm talking like, what is the Jedi doing in present day? That's the thing that I would like to see on film. Star Wars. What
It happened a long time ago in a plane.
Yeah,
No,
Right,
no,
Galaxy
not a
Far
long
Away,
time
yeah.
ago. What's going
Yeah.
on in the Jedi present time? Were there any Jedis now? That's what I would like to see. Not
See,
no,
that
not
would
a
be-
long
yeah.
time galaxy far away. I'm talking about right now. What is
That
that?
would be
Yeah,
interesting.
that'd be a cool idea, but it raises too many questions because how long ago and in what far off galaxy did Star Wars take place in, and how did the Jedi exist?
Are they going to
That
destroy
one
Earth?
story.
I was gonna say it would be cool if you had just one guy. There's like this person, and he finds this one guy who can do all those things in Star Wars, and he's just like, I don't know how I got here, but I just know that I'm here, and I'm the only one of my kind, pretty much.
Descendant of a
And
Jedi.
it's like
Something
the
like
whole parallel universe thing. He somehow found a way to
Yeah.
jump from the Star Wars universe into ours,
That would
and
be-
then him being there starts forth all these problems.
And-
That would be pretty.
And with that being said, Drew, can you remind us to talk about this whole universe concept with the Flash? And we never really developed and talked about Flash being on Supergirl and all the different things they're experimenting with Flash this season. I find very, very interesting. And then you can even look at the Legends of Tomorrow. You know, they're really going there and having fun with the script, I find, this season.
Yeah, I feel like we pretty much covered it last time, but just to reiterate, Flash recently met up with Supergirl. He's doing his thing with the whatever chess piece thing, which allows him to go from different universes because he wants to get his speed up to fight. Was it Zoom? Yeah, it was Zoom. So at any rate, he's doing his thing, and they've introduced the idea of the multiverse in this most recent season. It's worked for the most part. You had some really great episodes, and they had some really great beats with some of the characters. The Easter eggs were on point. For the most part, the scripts were good. My issue is always with let's pair everyone up, like you were saying before the show, Seven. Supergirl. So no, I'm going to get on you for this, man. Supergirl and the Flash should be dating. I'm like, why? Because they get along and they're a boy and a girl. Come on.
No.
They just
No.
can't be friends. Like,
Actually, it's
No.
interesting. Drew, I want you to know that I can't watch any show anymore without, soon as people have an interest or hook up, I hear your voice, no, this is not necessary. I want you
I've
to,
served my purpose. I can leave now.
yeah, I can't. Like, I can't. And you know what, and
Oh, man,
the thing that makes it worse, besides the voice, is 99.9, I agree with you. And that's the part that disturbs me the most.
I'm sorry, man, but no, it's like when it comes to it works for certain shows. Don't get me wrong, because
Okay.
Charles, I know you were saying that you finally, welcome to the party, finally sat down and watched Daredevil for the most part. And in that show, they have relationships. It's like you have Vanessa and the Kingpin. You have, for a while, Matt Murdock and
They need to let that go. With
sorry.
they're doing it too
Oh my
much
God.
on Daredevil now. He's got to hook up with everybody. He's doing an Arrow.
He's doing
Yeah,
a,
but
he's doing
that's
a
Daredevil.
But that's
Awesome.
actually that's Matt Murdock though.
That's
He
Matt Murdock.
is the Bruce Wayne of that section. Like he's gone out with Typhoid Mary. He's gone out with Elektra. He's gone out. I swear he probably went out with Domino. Like he's gone out with so many chicks that
He's
eventually
always with
they
chicks, yeah.
kind of
He always has a
couple each
different
other.
girlfriend. To the
I mean,
point
yeah,
where it's like a
it's
joke.
also
He's
about
always
that
joking about,
stuff,
who is
man.
it this week? So,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Really,
In fact,
really
I
quick
was
before
kind
we
of waiting
go.
for when they were going to get to him dating Karen.
Really quick before we go. Who's more of a player? Would you say Arrow? Would you say Daredevil? Would you say Batman? Obviously, you're talking about Bruce Wayne.
Daredevil, easy, dude. Batman.
Oh, really?
Daredevil.
You forgot the original player, man. Captain Kirk was the original player.
Oh my God.
And on that note, folks.
Oh.
And you know who really should be a player? And I like the way you broke down Superman, how he really should be. Please, we got to talk about this next week. But Superman really should be the player.
Oh,
You know what I mean? 'Cause
let
he's
his
like-
innocence fool him. He has a track record. He
Okay.
does. He's not out of the box either.
Okay.
Well, I was going to add to that because it's not that he hasn't had other chicks. My thing is everyone thinks of Superman as his main chick being that toad Lois Lane, who I've
Oh,
never
man.
been able to stand.
Exactly.
I can't stand Lois Lane. And there's so many other chicks that he's known, who he's been
Yep.
cool with, who
Yep.
even from coming from me, the guy who absolutely despises romance, he's had
Right.
better relationships when it comes to Lana Lang, Wonder Woman, who I think is the best. So
Oh, yeah.
he's not out of the box, but he's just always capitalized with
Right.
lame ass Lois. So
All right,
That's-
folks.
yeah.
Next week we'll go in on a little more because Drew definitely has his psychological breakdown, which I think is actually really awesome. Superman, the man you should know. You know, it should be a book, right? The man you should get to know.
I'm
right?
pretty sure there is one, but yeah.
Well, Eclecticka's version. Have a good one. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.